Hi everybody, Phil here with Sarros Landscaping, and what I'm about to show you is a backyard renovation project that actually turned into a front yard driveway paver project. So with that, let's get started. Okay, so this is where the project really begins. You can see the lawn up here is fairly long. It's Bermuda lawn. It's got a lot of open space areas. It's not in real great condition, and that's because there's getting a lot of it gets a lot of shade over here. Right here where this new Belgard Western wall was installed, this used to be cross tie retaining wall. So this is an old cross tie retaining wall, probably 20 years old. It was rotting, it was falling, it had no stair access in the middle, and it just looked horrible. So we decided to go with the Belgard Western wall in the gray granite color. We went with black mulch. We did gray granite or gray granite in the Holland stone. I'll show you that in a minute. But this whole backyard was just weeds, and there was probably about 9 small, less than 2-inch caliper trees that were just kind of blocking the view. And again, tons of weeds, tons of drainage, erosion problems back here. So what we decided to do is create this western wall, which is working great right along the top. We still have a little bit of grass to remove because we're going to create a planting bed behind this western wall. We got some nice gray stone stairs. We got to clean them up a little bit that fit right through the western wall. And then we continued it to about over here. The old wall actually went from this point all the way to the edge of the property. And we thought, well, there's no need for that. We'll just adjust the grade and bring the existing turf down into the new grass sod area. So then we wanted to have an 18-foot, well, actually about a 16 to 17-foot circular diameter fire pit out here. We didn't build the fire pit because I suggested to the homeowner, unless you make it a permanent staple back here, buy one that you can move out of the way. So if you're entertaining and it's hot or it's the middle of winter, you may or may not want to have the fire pit here. But I love the design. This is a herringbone pattern, Belgard Holland stone. We use the dark black joint sand. You see all of our edges, and this is true with all of our paving edges. We use the black engineered paver edge that's held down by 10-inch spikes, and that's all the way around. We don't use troweled concrete because troweled concrete will crack, and when it cracks, it undermines the horizontal stability of this, the horizontal interlock of that. And you can also tell as we go around this curve, we have full pavers all the way around, except every once in a while we have to miter cut a paver. Full miter cut. So it looks like we have about 4 pavers and then a miter cut. Part of the project was going to be to install lights, install landscaping, but for budget constraints, the homeowner wanted to stay within a specific budget. So we said we could do that in the fall. We could do that next spring. We originally were going to budget for about 6 pallets of sod back here, which would have covered this back area, around the fire pit, all through here, and up to that right area where the mulch ends. This pine straw is brand new. We put about 8 feet from, well, about 2 feet on our property, on this property line, about 6 feet onto that property line, just to not make the neighbors upset. And then we continued the pine straw out here, not all the way to the lake, but about 8 to 10 feet out, all the way up, so this would look manicured and finished. The coolest part about this, that I think, is this pathway. You notice, well, that's a black pathway. What's that made out of? Typically in the past, we would make it out of pavers. We might pour it out of concrete, but here we used recycled glued rubber mulch. This is super soft. This is soft enough for playgrounds where if anybody fell, this is, again, just very soft, very permanent, will not color fade for at least 10 years. That's what the manufacturer guarantees, and it's probably more than that. And it creates this really soft walking path as you go up to the stairs. And that became our backyard project. So in a minute, I'm going to show you the front yard project that came from the backyard, because what I was telling them when I started the job is their driveway was really cracked heavily. And I said, I think it's going to crack again when we bring our materials. So they asked for a quote for the front yard. Let's go take a look at it. All right, we're about to walk up the left side of the house and take a look at the front yard project. But what I want you to notice is where our machine came down over here, we came down half of the mulch and the other track came down. Let's see if you can see it better here. The other track came down right through here. So when you're messing up a yard with tracks, it's always a nice thing to order a little bit of extra sod and make sure that you cover your tracks, rake the mulch back. We even put new mulch in this area, so this should grow back very nicely. So let's take a walk up front and show you what we did there. Okay, so here we are approaching the front yard. First off, they had concrete here at one level to match the door. Then it dropped down and became just a mulch bed. And what we wanted to do is create a continuous concrete area, specifically for these trash cans, recycle bin and the trash can, which is going to fit perfectly right here and right here before you get to the door. So the homeowners will be able to come out, throw their trash away, and they'll be able to roll it all the way up to the street, let the trash get emptied, and roll it back. We made life simpler for them. We also took that downspout, every downspout on the front yard, right here, we took that downspout and we piped it out to here. This is a pop-up emitter. So when enough water pressure fills in there, this emitter will pop up and water will be allowed to discharge over a 360-degree pattern going down the natural grass, I guess you could say swale down that area. And there's a drain halfway down there. Okay, so here we are at the front yard project. Just finished telling you about what's going on here and how we're tying it into the driveway. We're using a 45-degree Holland stone in a herringbone pattern. Same thing we did in the back, just different color. We're using Avondale up front because clearly Avondale matches the brown tones on the house. In the back, it didn't really matter because it was set so far back that the black just gave it a classier look. So we're just about done now. You can see what the crew is doing is creating a path that's going to ultimately go to that front door. We've piped every single downspout that's inside of here out, and we put in this surface drain basin right over here. Prior to us doing this job, the concrete was so low that the grass was growing above it and it just held water in this area. Now all the water will go right into that surface drain basin. What the crew is doing now is creating the soldier course. So we're coming back in, cutting the 45-degree angles that we need to cut, and we're creating a soldier course. And coincidentally, we're changing now from a herringbone to a running bond pattern so we can make this curve nice and neat. So the rest of the day today, we will cut out this soldier course. We will put in the engineered plastic edging with the 10-inch spikes. We will do the same over here. Right about here is going to be our line. So we still have to fill in just a little bit here. But once we get to this point, we continue to come straight down to about this point. And let me show you. From there, we're going to put a gentle curve all the way out to here. And we switch again to a running bond pattern, and that is why you see these blocks laid this way. Every time we switch a pattern, we run a soldier course along it to hold those blocks. But it'll curve right from here, curve right from here, and curve right up to that line, bringing it straight down. And that is our driveway project. This is in a neighborhood that's very close to where we live and work, and we're doing a number of driveways in this neighborhood at a much reduced price because they're quick in and out projects and keeps the crews busy. We make enough margin on it because it's close, and very proud to have a yard sign. It's printed on both sides. So yes, technically I could take this yard sign and turn it the other way, but I think at the rate people are stopping and staring, they'll have a chance to see that and know how to get a hold of us. So we're taking care of the drainage all in here. You can see the pathway that is now being built to the front door is going to be curved. This whole driveway is going to be the herringbone pattern, Belgard Avondale color blend, herringbone pattern set at 45 degrees. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it gives you some ideas of what you need to do to build a driveway. And in that last sentence, I will add, we excavated the concrete. We also excavated an additional roughly 4 inches of dirt, which was loose and very uncompacted. Then we took a giant ride-on roller machine. It's not here today. We took it back to our shop and we compacted the sub base. After that, we put in a weed barrier fabric, and after that, we put in 6 inches of crusher run base. And then we put the driveway. In the joints, we'll use a beige polymeric sand right here. We're using a an Alliance stone, what they call the rapid set technology, so which is good for us. Less haze. So we're going to be using this as our joint sand. Here are spikes that we use in order to secure the edge restraint down. And that is about it. That brings us to the close of this project. And I believe our next project might be the next door neighbor, who I have to go visit because they said they're interested in one too. So never lose sight of the people that are watching. Make sure you have a yard sign. Make sure you're talking to the neighbors. Make sure you're checking in with your client. Make sure they're happy with everything. You don't want to get to the end of the project and find out, whoa, wait a minute, I'm not happy with this part or that part. So lots of good communication. And since we did such a great job in the back, it was a very easy sell to say, hey, we're still here. Why don't we go ahead and do your driveway? And these people will not have to worry about their driveway, but maybe cleaning, sealing. But for the most part, this driveway isn't going to give them any problems for the next 2 decades. Again, with the exception of some light cleaning, some sealing, blowing off the leaves, typical stuff. Thanks. Have a great day. Hi everyone, I'm back, and now we are finished installing the pavers. We've got the paver installation complete. It looks a little hazy because there's a lot of dust, a lot of construction dust and debris. But I want to show you a couple details that really stand out. And so I'm going to flip the camera around here and give you the details of the nearly finished project. Here we go. Okay, so this is the nearly finished project. All of the pavers are in place. Let me give you a few details here. We've got a pretty steep elevation change from here down to the garage. And one thing that is very important to note on how we build this is that we don't come down and go straight into the garage, because that's where water's going to want to go. So we actually have to make our low point right here. So this elevation drops to here, as well as this dropping, and the driveway is sloped in that direction, with the exception of about 4 feet here that slopes slightly this way. And when it does, it'll land in this drain box. And because we took out the existing concrete, we're able to take the downspouts that are in this area, and we took everything out to a drain that you can't see right here, but it's dug in there to a drain out there. So water is something we definitely have to address. A lot of times when you hire a hardscape company to come in and do a driveway, one thing that is overlooked or not talked about is what's the cleanup going to be like? Because it's typical for a company, a hardscape company, to come in here and say, okay, we're going to do this job, and they give you a price, and then you might get a quote from me, and my price may be a couple $1,000s higher. And you're like, well, I really love your work, but you know, this guy's a lot cheaper. But wait, there's more. Here's what we have to do. Here's what we do that a lot of people don't. The driveway company at this point is going to say, good news, we're all done with your driveway. And you're going to look at it and be like, wow, that looks really great. Who's going to take care of this edging here down by the side that's all exposed all the way up the driveway? Who's going to take, what's going to happen? How do we finish this off? And your hardscape contractor is going to look at you and say, well, you need to call a landscape contractor, because they'll come in and do this. And the landscape contractors that you call are going to come out and say, well, this job isn't even big enough for us to do. It's like a pallet of sod, but it's a lot of detail finishing work. So we include that in our price, the detail finishing work, because as I believe strongly, the details do in fact matter on every job. So it matters how these edges turn out. It matters that there's dirt. It matters that there's sod that's going to go in here when it's all done. So with that, they're brooming off the pavers now, and you'll see that the pavers don't have any joint sand in it yet. That's what's sitting up over here. The very last step that they'll be doing, probably they may break for lunch and then start it right after lunch. Give us a call if you want any work done in your area. Here's polymer sand that's going to go in after lunch. This will get swept in. It's important that the driveway is bone dry, that it has not rained all week long here, and this driveway is very, very dry. So the sand is going to go in quickly, easily, dry, and then what they'll do is once it's all in place, and he's got the blower now, they'll blow off all the dust and then put the sand in. Then what they'll do is they'll take a mist of water. They'll take a hose and put just a misting jet on it, and we'll just get the surface wet. And when we get it wet, it's going to activate the polymer inside of the sand, and it's going to start to harden. And we'll run the compactor over the area to make sure sand drops all the way to the bottom of the joint. Actually, it's about the bottom, the top 2/3. The bottom third is filled with sand through compaction with the sand that's underneath. And then the driveway will be done. But we won't, because we have a couple more finishing details, like rinsing off the mailbox. Wouldn't it be nice to have your brand new project, but you're going to come out here and say, hey, rinse me. I was going to write rinse me, but we'll rinse off the mailbox. You know what else we're going to do? We're going to repair the concrete curb. We're actually going to take the curb and form it down to this level. That has to be done on every job to give a good clean finish. We also need to repair this joint. Not repair, we have to fill this joint with polymer sand because we don't want the pavers to move this way. So we've got a little bit of a larger joint here. We'll use a larger polymer sand. And finally, we'll finish up this curb as well. Now, we made sure to follow the law and call 811, which gives us our utility locates. You can see that there's some orange paint right here, some orange paint here, and there's a real big box down here as well as over there in those bushes. I don't know if this is the box. Yes, it is. Okay, so this box says Bell South on it. So what's happened is in the last maybe 10 years, not 10 years, probably been only 5 years, companies came in and put a lot of fiber optic lines in. And so we were told when we did our utility locate to hand excavate. Don't use any machines to excavate that area at the top, because these lines that are in this area are not like the lines that go to the house. These are the main fiber optic lines that serve all the homes from this box down this way into the next box. It could be 200, 300, 400 homes that would be affected if we were to cut this line. So the fine for that would be probably around $10,000. Good news is we didn't cut the lines. Good news is this job is near completion, and with that, I hope you've enjoyed watching this project come together. Again, don't forget, give us a call, 404-692-7003, and please help make this video making endeavor worthwhile by hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel for more amazingly interesting projects involving hardscapes, artificial turf, pour-in-place rubber mulch, playgrounds, municipal projects, residential projects, and much, much more. Thank you. Have a great day. Okay, so here we are looking at the finished project. And this is it. So now that we're done, everything has the polymer joint sand in it. You can see we've got this beautiful 45-degree herringbone pattern. I'm going to take a shot from the sun behind me, or from a different angle, let's put it that way. Here is, we finished the outline edge with some grass. Here's where they can put their trash cans. We built this pad. Obviously the trash cans can go over here. This is another look at that 45-degree going like this herringbone pattern, which just looks absolutely incredible. We've got the drainage down here in case water comes in. Downspout pipes are going to it. We transition from the herringbone. You see we've got the herringbone here, and then we transition here to a running bond pattern with a soldier course. If this paver was laid on its edge, it'd be called a sailor course. We did a soldier course. Every so often we got to miter the paver. So you see this one has a little miter cut here in order to make this circle, or this radius, but it turns out perfectly. It's just a beautiful job all the way around. Really proud of the crew. We do have the engineered edge restraint, so there's not a concrete edge on it. That's held down with 10-inch spikes. So this is it, finished paver driveway. And if you want one that looks just like this one or similar, that's the number to call, 404-692-7003. Visit us at sarroslandscaping.com. Again, I'll show you this is how we finish up the concrete. This will, rather than try to do it with pavers or just leave a chunk of concrete, we blend all that in. So this looks great. Another finished project in the books. Have a great day.